This is the twisted story of how a money-hungry son killed his own parents. On the morning of March 30th, 2009, an employee at a pizza restaurant in Townsville, Virginia, opened the store and was met with her boss and his wife, dead on the floor, 52-year-old Harvey Looney and his wife Valerie.
I just come in and a pizza plus and I found some imagery laying in a pool of blood and her husband's laying out the back door. Okay, you need to get out of the store and I don't want you touching anything, okay? Is it husband and wife? They both work here. Valerie Looney and Harvey Looney.
Police believe 48-year-old Valerie Looney and her husband, 52-year-old Harvey Looney, were killed sometime between 11:30 Sunday night and 7 o'clock Monday morning.
This is something that you think it never happened in your life.
The killer had slashed Harvey's throat just outside the restaurant's back door, while Valerie had been murdered inside the kitchen. She had been hit in the head multiple times, but that wasn't enough to satisfy the killer, so he slashed her throat. The detectives discovered that the couple had life insurance to pay their only son, Christopher Looney, out around $260,000. The detectives decided to bring him over to the police station for a formal interview.
How about sitting in that chair? Could you turn your cell phone off? You were home that night. You fell asleep, and at 1 o'clock, they still weren't home. You went to bed. Woke up the next morning, they weren't home. And you never called to see where they were. See, I'm just giving you things that make it look bad for you.
Right.
All right?
Yeah, I understand.
Can you explain that to me? I mean, were you working at the time?
Mm-hmm.
How much you get paid?
He was right at $13 an hour.
You're poised to get a lot of money out of this. Right? Okay.
How much money are we talking?
$260.
$260,000. See, now, the people are going to say you got a motive.
I mean, I'm not wanting the money because it's going to go to the girls.
So, did you go to work that morning?
I did.
Where?
E-dealing.
What do they make?
10 o'clock. I had received a text message while I was at work asking me what was going on at Pizza Plus.
Why didn't you try to call your parents? I mean, they got a regular phone, right?
So
Business phone, and they got cell phones.
Right.
Did you try to call?
No.
There's the problem we had. Are you curious whether your mom and dad suffered?
Yeah, I am.
How curious are you? You never asked. That bothers me. This is what bothers me about you. You're cold. You're even cold right now. Chris, I mean, these are your parents. They're dead. Is this the way you are in real life?
Yeah, it is.
Don't you care?
I do care.
How bad?
Real bad.
Give us something. Show us you care.
still sitting here and we're looking at you and you're not asking us why. You're not asking us why we ain't looking at somebody else.
I don't know nothing to tell you that I haven't already told you.
Due to a lack of evidence, the interrogators had to let Christopher go, and from this point on, the case went cold.
Pizza Plus owner Daniel Morrison still deeply saddened by the Looney's deaths. He's offering a $10,000 reward for information, leading to an arrest in this 2-year-old murder case.
2 years have gone by, and no additional evidence has been found, so the police decide to place a $10,000 reward for additional information that may lead to an arrest. For a month, the police station was bombarded with fake leads and information from people trying to score the $10K. But out of the bunch, only one had valuable information. James Casey. James was in prison at the time and claimed that his cellmate, David Matheny, had been bragging about getting away with this very murder. He had even described in detail exactly how he went about murdering them. But James had to prove his information was solid, so the cops gave him a wire so he could record a potential confession.
Who was there at Pizza Plus?
Me, one of my friends was outside. Right when it was getting ready to close down, that's when I went inside.
How bad was it, Bloody?
Yeah, the girl, she didn't die or something. She was just on there,
Holding her head.
just want her to hold there and do it again.
Oh, hit her second.
Kind of like a bull blood.
Start draining out.
And I got a hold of myself, and I was like, make sure you touch anything, lock that down, don't get caught on it.
The first step the investigators took after hearing this was to bring David in for interrogation.
We'll just cut right to the chase, okay? you tell us what you know about Pete's Place?
I just know what people told me.
We've got you recorded talking about it. You're a principal in the first degree on this. If it went down the way you said it did on these damn transcripts, you're guilty of murder. It's capital murder because it's more than one person. It's robbery. That's capital murder. You know what you get for capital murder?
There's two things you're gonna get in capital murder. What do you think it is?
Life and death. I told you, I told only one person,
Who?
James Casey.
What'd you tell him?
I told him that I was there with other people, but I kind of felt intimidated because he was like, well, I killed a bunch of people and all that.
Aren't you voting down? Where were you?
I was on house arrest at my house.
Well, that was with the ankle bracelet.
Yeah.
You're telling me you had nothing to do with it?
I had nothing to do with
No
it.
direct knowledge of who did it or anything?
I said what I remembered on TV.
Due to David being on house arrest, the detectives were able to quickly verify his alibi. At this point, the investigation is back to square one. 3 years have now passed, and the case is still not solved. The investigators had lost all hope. Until one day, the new sheriff of Tasman County decided to reopen the case. After a re-examination of the interviews and all the information gathered, everything leads back to one person, Christopher. He was the only person with something to gain from the murders, and he had virtually no alibi at all. But before bringing Chris back to the interrogation room, they decided to gather more information about him by interviewing his ex-girlfriend.
So I'd like to ask you some questions about Chris. How did you guys meet? Tell me a little bit about that
At
relationship.
Pete's Plus. We worked together.
How often would he borrow money from mom and dad?
Every time that he had spent his paycheck and there was something due. I had a really good relationship with Harvey and Valerie even after Chris moved out. And maybe 3 weeks to a month before this happened. They came down to see their granddaughter. Harvey and Valerie told me that he came to Pizza Plus and said that if she didn't let him borrow $800-900, that he was not going to let them see their granddaughter anymore. Kind of stunned me. I mean, Chris, don't use my child for your own gain.
Money-hungry Chris was so greedy that he told his own parents they weren't allowed to see their grandchildren if they didn't cough up some cash. This just reinforces Chris's motivation to murder his own parents. With this new information, the detectives are confident they will find out the truth behind these horrific murders, so they bring Chris in for questioning once again.
What do most people call you?
Chris.
Is it okay we call you Chris?
Yes.
How would you describe your physical health?
Good.
How would you describe your mental health?
Good.
You have how many children?
2.
And what are their ages?
One's 10, the other one's 2.
What were the total of the insurance payouts on your parents?
That I got was $245.
So how much do you think you got left?
I'd say $125,000.
This is a beautiful trick question by the interrogator. He does this to determine if Chris would lie or speak the truth. Chris chose to lie. He doesn't have $125,000 left. In fact, he has nothing. Chris has spent all the insurance money the past years. This was confirmed by Chris's current girlfriend in this audio tape.
I drive on a suspended license because I don't have the money to get the classes.
Well, let me ask you this. Chris has quite a bit of money. Why doesn't he pay it for you?
Chris is out of money.
All that money?
So we did not handle the money right. We lived hand to mouth, literally.
Since the payouts, tell me things that you purchased that cost more than $1,000.
I bought 2 vehicles. I bought an ATV, bought some tools.
Anything else?
I bought another ATV, and then I bought a side-by-side ATV.
Let me ask you. Were you involved in their murder in any way?
No.
You worked at the pizza place where this crime took place,
Yes, I did.
correct? Did you know where the fire extinguisher was located in the
Not
restaurant?
right off, no.
Did you ever handle that fire extinguisher that was in that restaurant?
Not that I know of.
Even if the person was wearing gloves, you can still leave DNA at the scene. Do you realize that?
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing called touch
Mm-hmm.
DNA. Even though I'm wearing gloves, if my arm brushes against the counter, let's say, I'm going to leave skin cells
Right.
on the counter. Is there anything you'd like to change your answer to?
No.
Gonna tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna step out and review some stuff, and we'll be back. Okay?
All right, like I told you, I've interviewed lots of people since I've been working on this investigation. And there's no doubt you caused the death of your parents. I will talk to you for a few minutes, all right? I've got another DNA swab off the fire extinguisher coming back from the FBI. You and I both know that that DNA is going to come back to you. Is what I'm saying sound logical?
I do.
What's that?
I do.
Now, a lot of people have told me, basically, Chris is a good person. I can tell you of hundreds of situations where a guy acts out and he does something he did not intend to do. And that's you. I want to be able to show that. My girlfriend told me, you cry yourself to sleep at night. She believes it's because how much you miss mom and dad, and that's probably true. But you're crying for yourself, for what you did. Right about that, aren't you?
I don't.
How about I go to your girlfriend and I tell her that your DNA is at the scene. You know what she's going to do? She'll repult. So if you want to continue to lie about everything, the door's open. You're free to go. You've been free to go since you walked in. I'm telling you, I don't. But you got to take responsibility for yourself. You got to help your daughter. You got to help Liz. She loves you. She wants to stand by you. But she needs the truth. You over there to borrow some money?
Chris has just admitted to the crime, but this isn't it. The detectives still need a full-fledged confession.
Can you tell me about what time you went down there?
10:30, 11 o'clock.
Okay.
That's when we started arguing.
What started the argument?
Just money.
What happened after that?
That's when I got on Mom. Cut her.
If you cut your mom, where was your dad?
Oh, he was hitting me then when Mom fell. He took off running out the back. I just chased after Dad and grabbed him from behind, choking him. And then we fell. So we went back inside to make sure Mom was not moving. There with the fire extinguisher.
And what did you do with the fire extinguisher?
I'll put it back
Put it back where?
where it was hanging. And I went outside and make sure Dad was gone.
Okay. Okay, what happened? What'd you do to your dad then?
That's when I cut him
Where'd you cut him?
in the neck too.
Chris was charged with murdering his own parents, and in 2014 he was sentenced to life in prison.